again, it's always been my honor to be just being able to address you privately. And I know some of you guys are listening on your MP3, some of you guys are listening by internet, and some have this particular CD, and some of you have this DVD. But I want to personally tell you that I'm grateful for you allowing me to enter into your home, allowing me to enter into your vehicle. And I want to tell you, if you're driving, keep your hands on the steering wheel and make sure you keep looking forward, okay? And observe what's going around you. And today we want to talk about the custom-built leader. And I want to tell you, we did some extensive teaching on this throughout the years, but I really want to make this personal, because I know this is going out to thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. You have purchased this, and I want to make sure you get the quality about being a leader. And I know a lot of you guys out there, CEOs, senior executives, and senior leaders. But I want to say something to that subordinate leader. You be encouraged as well. One thing about it, learn from those who are senior. You're going to learn two things. You're going to learn what to do and what not to do from watching leaders. Come out the gate, I want to encourage you about your leadership and your challenges and the struggles that you might have as a leader. And I'm aware of that because I have 3 international companies. I'm the CEO of all 3 of them. And I'm just so grateful for the leaders that support us and the leaders that doing the things they do in excellence. And I'm grateful for that. And you subordinate leaders, I want to personally encourage you. And some of the old guys like I won't say old, but older. None of us are old, because old is a state of mind. But being a leader, first of all, you have to know where you're going. You must be able to take others there. Then you'll be able to come back and get someone else and take them to that destination again. You can't take people where you have not gone. You can lead them, but the true evidence of true leadership is being that thing, being a leader. Leader is not by position. Before I get into my subject matter, leader is not about position. That is a place. But leadership is the fullness of who you are. Once you've been trained, you've been developed, and you have learned. Let me say something again. You have learned. Because every leader must teach, train, and develop, and mentor. If you do that, and that's a little about what we're going to talk about in the leadership matrix. But first I want to say something about you leaders. To be a custom-built leader, you have to begin to evaluate, number one, you. What is your attitude and what is your motive while you're leading? I want you to think about that. Your attitude, your motives. Because sometimes over the last 30 years I had opportunity to teach and train thousands and thousands of men and women. And I'm grateful. I was in the military, and in my last position I held, I was the senior advisor for all petroleum, water, field service, and quartermaster assets for the whole United States Army Reserve. So I was honored to serve in that capacity. Because one thing I often portrayed and taught all our leaders was that we serve to lead, then we lead to serve. Let me say that again. You serve to lead, then you lead to serve. That's vitally important. And this is all about the mindset. And going to the essence of being a custom-built leader, there are 3 things that you must capture and understand and get it in your psyche, get it in your heart, get it in your mind. First of all, it's not about you. It's about the people you serve and your attitude in serving them. So there's 3 things you need. You need a pitcher, a platter, and an attitude of a servant. Let me say something. If you have a pitcher, remember I mentioned mentor, you have to pour into the people you serve. And then my question, then you got to serve the people. So you have to have a platter. So that some of your experiences and the things that you've gone through, then you'll be able to serve the right way. Because many of y'all leaders over the last 10 to 20 years, they're serving incorrectly. A lot of them talking like an apple and living like an orange. So it's vitally important that we begin to talk from an integrity standpoint, from a character standpoint, and you're going to hear me talk about character leadership as well, and developing that custom-built leader that's inside of you. So once again, you got a pitcher in one hand, you got a platter in the other hand, But most of all, you got to have an attitude of a servant. See, what are we serving our leaders? Are we serving with a negative attitude, a nonchalant attitude? Are we serving them with honor, with integrity? Are we serving them with respect? So that's what the question is. And we'll get a little more deeper into teaching and into the Custom Built series teaching. But an attitude of a servant is vitally important as a leader, for the simple fact that, guess what? No one can demote a servant. I hear a lot of people talking about a servant leader, but I hear more talking and less execution about being a servant leader. In all my life, people wonder, they say, you head this, you own this, and et cetera, et cetera. But I always tell them and tell all our leaders that two things will not happen. You will not outlove me, and you will not outserve me. Because I'm secure in who I am. It doesn't matter what capacity or position I hold. The thing about it is the common about achieving excellence, making the mission happen, and getting to the goal, getting to the destination. Now, I want to talk about how to be able to understand what it is to be a custom-built leader. Once again, a custom-built leader must adopt the objective. The objective. What is your objective and how you're trying to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve? That must be a destination. So my question is, where are you going? People will follow you if they know where you're going. Listen to me now. They will follow you if you know where you're going. So basically, we got to get it done. So being a custom-built leader, number one, do you have a plan to take people to a destination? Do you have a plan to take people to a destination? If you're driving, you can't do this exercise, but if you're watching via internet, via CD or DVD, if you're in your own comfort of your home, or if this is a particular teaching in a conference atmosphere, web, that type of thing, I want you to write this acronym now. PLAN. P-L-A-N. I want you to plan. The first letter in the acronym PLAN is path. Your direction. Do you understand your direction? Do you understand your path? So you must give them a direction, first of all. You got to give that to them. And the L in plan is life. You have to put life to that plan. In other words, life to your dreams. And you got to give them a motivation. So in other words, life to your dream, where you're going. And the A in plan is, what is the advantage that your leaders will get if they follow your plan? What are the advantages in taking what you have said, then executing? That's vitally important. So when you give an advantage, you have to give them wisdom so they can have the advantage. So that's vitally important. And the N in plan is navigate. Once you give them direction, once you give them life to the dream, the motivation factor, you let them know there's an advantage to this. So they can then inject your wisdom and then navigate them in their life, in their business, not just the plan that you plan to execute or the objective, but how can this plan give them the advantage? Understand that, leaders. Our objective is to give them the advantage as well. Give them to buy into what you're doing, to believe what you're doing. Make them part of what you're doing. This is what it's all about, being a custom-built leader, making them a part of where you want to go. So let me say this again. There's 4 essentials. Number 1, the plan. And there will be opposition. Check out your heart to arrive at your destiny. That's vitally important. So we understood the plan. There's a deep teaching we're going to talk about plan a little later. But the opposition. When there's a plan, there will be an opposition. So therefore, you got to face it. Put it on your paper. Now, if you're driving, once again, please Keep your eyes on the road, okay? Please do. And for those who live, obviously, you guys can write this information down. Face it. So when there's opposition, you have to face that thing. First, you got to be flexible. Don't be so rigid that you'll break. So flexibility is the key. And then after flexibility, you got to begin to adopt, the adaptability. Check out your adaptability. Can you adopt what's been said if you're a subordinate leader? Then, in facing what you're trying to achieve, you have to be consistent with the plan. To see and face it, be consistent. Be consistent. Be a consistent leader. And I'm a Christian man, and my pastor often say, consistency is the key to the breakthrough. But I want to say to you that with that plan, persistence always outlasts persecution. But that's another teaching in itself. So the E in face it, what kind of exchange you going to give? See, when there's opposition, either you can submit to it, or you can fight it with what the equipment that you have. And the equipment you have is a plan, you have a direction, a positive mental attitude, and you know where you're going. So it's very important. So flexibility, adaptability, and being consistent, and then there's an exchange. In other words, when that opposition, you're going to exchange that with persistence. We are not going to give up. We're not going to cave in. We're not going to quit. Now the IT. Remember earlier I was saying people have to buy into it. So the I is make sure your people involve themselves in getting an answer. Involve themselves in getting an answer. That's the I. Involve everyone. Involve everyone. And the T. Understand, with opposition, there's a time crunch. Opposition tries to deter and attack your time. So you got to clearly understand something. T-I-M-E, time. Whatever opposition is, there's an expiration date. It's gonna fall. If you keep going at that mountain, chipping that away, so a person asks, how do I eat an elephant? One piece at a time. I know it's a large mammoth animal, but one piece at a time. So you got a date. So with that opposition, there's a date with destiny. With that opposition, that's going to, remember I said that's going to be a time crunch, but there's going to be a date or a time where diligence will take over, of being aggressive, then you got to be trustworthy, and then do it in excellence. Let me explain the three. Diligence. What has stopped your motivation? The D in destiny. That date was destiny. D-A-T-E, that's the date. The next thing is, how aggressive are you in pursuing the mission, the goal, and objective? And then the T, trustworthy. In other words, the accountability factor. Can we count on you to achieve your desired result? And the E, excellence. How and what does your signature mean in accomplishing mission? That's what you do in quality and distinction. What makes your group, your business, different than anyone else?